Hello again, it's Dr. Dave Maddock here, and today I want to share with you a new platform that we have in our school district called eduClimber. Today I'm going to show you just how to get into the platform and a little bit of what you can do, but just remember that we have multiple trainings coming up for MTSS coaches for beginning August 30th and going through September 20th, and then we will have trainings for other users throughout the district across the fall. So to get to eduClimber, you can get there straight through School City. Click on the link for School City, wait for it to load, and then we're going to click the waffle icon right at the top of School City here in our Launchpad, and you should now see a button for eduClimber. Clicking that will take you directly into the eduClimber platform. We've got a district message here. Just remember that all information that you see within eduClimber is subject to FERPA, so don't share it with anyone who shouldn't have permission to access the platform. And remember that anything that you put into this platform is subject to FERPA laws. Parents can get anything that you put in, so just be careful with the comments that you type into the platform. Once you're here, you should see every student that you have access to. This is the landing page. You can see any assessments, open incidents, interventions. All of those things we'll learn more about as the school year goes on. But the things that I want to show you right now are Students 3D and the student profile. Students 3D is an amazing visualization tool to look at what does a school look like in terms of its demographics. So let's just pick one of our schools. We'll start with Boggy Creek. And from here, we can see all the students who are enrolled for this year. When you're logged into the platform, you will see student names, but I have top secret mode engaged right now, so these students have been given random numbers to protect their information. Clicking on any one of these kids would take you directly to their student profile, but we can break this information down in different ways. So for example, if I wanted to see how many kids were in each grade level, I could click that over here on the left, and I can see that Boggy Creek has more third graders than they do any other grade level. We can break it up by gender, by ethnicity. We have all sorts of information that we can use. And if we want to get more information about those kids, we can just highlight the group and it'll bring up a list of those students, their grades, genders, and we could continue from there if we needed to put them in an intervention or apply a tag to them. Let's look at an individual student. So we'll go over to grade, click on a student, and let's look at this student's profile. Now, there's not too much information right now because it's the fourth day of school, but let's look at last year and see what's in here. This brought up a ton of information about that student. First, right at the top left, we can check their attendance, and I can see that this student's attendance last year was 88%. If I were to break it down by month, I can see that their attendance actually dipped in February, and towards the end of the year, they got a little bit of senioritis, second grade-itis, as they started to miss school. We can also break that down by day of the week. I can see that the student is struggling to attend on Mondays, maybe taking those 3-day weekends. And if they transferred schools, we can check how their attendance has been by school. But this student's been at Boggy Creek the whole time. We also have all of their assessment data broken down into categories: literacy, math, science, social studies, and social emotional behavior will be in here very soon. I can see how the student was doing on their report card. And these will change color, more green for higher performance, more towards the red end for lower performance. And all of their NWA data came across as well. All of these pieces of data have a lot more to them. So if we click on them, we can activate that assessment, and I can now see how is this student performing over time from fall of 2021 to the spring of 2022. And I can click their sub-assessments to see what are their strengths and weaknesses. So this student started off actually struggling in language, literary text, language, craft, and structure, and they had a relative strength in those key ideas and details sections. We can see overall that they improved a little bit over time between the fall and the spring. If this is too much data, I don't want to know the student's projected score, let's say, just clicking on it will take it right off the graph. I can take off the national mean, I can take off the district average, and just see that student's scores. And this is the same for pretty much any tool that you use within the platform. You can also look at students by a whole grade level. So if you're a school leader, MTSS administrator, let's just set this to one school. Let's look at just one grade here and then search. Oh, and I need to remember to set it to last year rather than this year. This should pull up some reports. Here we go. We can see their NWA scores coming in. How are these students doing? What percent are below benchmark or above benchmark? And I can also come in here and change this to, well, let's look at the performance levels. And now I can see which students are scoring in that tier 1 range, in that tier 2 range, and in that tier 3 range. And what does it look like for our lowest scores, our highest scores? So we can take some of these things off, take off the minimum and the maximum, and now we're just looking at the average and those performance benchmarks. For the columns, it's using the count of students on the left, and for the for the lines, it's using the y-axis over here on the right. We have data for literacy, for math. We can see some assessments are still coming in. There will be more data popping up as we go, just so you're aware. But there's all sorts of data that's in here, so feel free to get in and play around. And if you don't want to look at it aggregated in charts, you can also look at it as a data wall, where it will give you each individual student and show you those scores independently. And on many of the assessments, it will highlight these. Are they in the tier 2 range, the tier 3 range, etc. Going back over to that student profile, well, let's go find a student here. Let's pick a 5th grader this time. Students can also have tags on them. So some tags are carrying in automatically. For example, let's look at, see if this student has any tags. So if a student has tags in focus, they should have come over automatically. I can see that the student is an LY student and they're in a dual language class for this year, and they've actually been an LY since 2019 and in dual language courses all that time. There are many tags that can come over, whether or not they're an avid student, if they're in Ascend Academy, but you can also create your own tags. So if you are trying to group students, you can add a tag and create a new tag. So for example, if you want to say that a student should be in tier 2 reading, you can just add that tag right here, save it, and it will automatically save that student. If you have grouped your kids in Students 3D, let's say you're looking at their assessment data and you're trying to filter down to how kids performed specifically on, let's say, the NWEA last spring, you can break it up by score group. This is something that we'll really get into when we get to the training next month. Once you've filtered your kids in a specific way, you can highlight the ones that you want, and you can apply a tag straight from there as well. Oh, sorry, I have to check the students before I apply a tag. And then I could apply this tag to each of these students. So just letting you know that that's a function that is available. There is a ton more that is in eduClimber. This is not even scratching the surface, but there will be further trainings coming. We'll be providing operational guides. We'll be providing access to online learning, and we have the entire series of training throughout the month of September. Just wanted to let you know that this is available now for you. And if you are trying to explore on your own, the Help Center here is a pretty useful place to find answers to the questions that you have. You have access to a lot of questions within the learning community that if you are trying to figure something out, you can do that. So everyone now has access. You can get in through School City, and if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Thank you.